attention and welcome to another episode of the Easy Cage Show. Guys, I am Darth Easy.
And I'm Rainy Cage.
And this is episode 140 of the Easy Cage Show. Rainy Cage, how's it going?
It's going great. No, for those of you who are wondering, I have not seen Nick Cage's new movie called Pig yet, but I do want to see it.
I saw that. Is it any good or...
It's got like certified like 90-something% on Rotten Tomatoes. Supposedly
Really?
It's the best it's ever been. Yeah.
Huh. So yeah, I mean, I was gonna go to theaters this weekend, but the movies aren't good apparently. Like Snake Eyes and Both Ode are like in the 50s, probably dropped down lower than that by now. So it's been a rough month, and I'm like I've been waiting to use my Regal. I've been twice so far, but I haven't got to go once this month yet because I just watched Black Widow online, and so I'm hoping next week I go see Stillwater and hopefully Green Knight's good.
Not Jungle Cruise?
Well, there's no way Jungle Cruise is good.
No, it's not going to be good. There's no way.
I hope it is because I love Emily Blunt and The Rock's fine, I guess, but I just don't have any faith in that film.
I heard that, I think it was John Campy or somebody tweeted a minute ago that Free Guy apparently is going to be a sleeper hit, that apparently it's really good, supposedly.
I can see that.
So I was like, all right, that might be cool.
What's that, first week in August?
Yeah.
Or is that the second week?
I think it's the first week. But I
know Suicide Squad comes out that week.
I've not heard anything about, well, then maybe it is the second week. I've not heard anything about Jungle Cruise. It's going to be garbage, probably.
Okay. So this week, it's been a little bit since we've done a top 10, but this week, me and Rain Cage, the movie called Stillwater is coming out next week in theaters, starring legendary Matt Damon. And Matt Damon has a pretty good filmography. He's had a bunch of movies, and so this has given us a perfect opportunity to do another actor list. It's been a while since we've done an actor. I can't remember the last actor we did. So it's going to be kind of we probably haven't done that many, actually, now I'm thinking about it. So we usually try to stay around the topics, but it's kind of fun to go into the actual one actor's filmography. Like, this movie might be better than a movie down the list, but is he prominent enough in the film, or is it or maybe you're going off performance or quality of film? So it's whatever you use to judge the list. So it makes it for a very interesting and fun list. Oh, before we start, did you watch the trailer for The Last Duel?
The Last Ghoul?
Duel.
The Last Jewel? No.
No, Duel. The Last Duel.
Oh, yeah. Last Duel. Yes. Hell yes. That was amazing looking.
Yeah, so speaking of that, David, and a little bit Affleck, I mean, it looked really good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's Ridley Scott directed, and I think that comes out, like, October?
Yeah, it had like a kind of a gladiator.
Kind of a little Kingdom of Heaven kind of feel to it. So I'm interested in that film. Maybe around then we could do maybe top 10 Ridley Scott films. I don't know if there's 10 of them, but I'm sure there is.
Yeah, it probably is.
So, but anyways, we're doing Matt Damon this week, and you ready to get started?
I'm ready. Let's do
All
this
right.
thing.
All right, guys. Once me and Ray Cage a said topic, we go our separate ways and compare our own separate top 10s. I'll do my 10 to rate. He'll do his 10 to rate. I'll do my 7 through 6. He'll do his 7 through 6. Then we trade one apiece. Once we compare our own separate top 10s, we'll create the show between the two of us. And you started first last time, so I'll go first this time.
All right.
All right. So number 10 is probably going to be a punt. And it's a film which he's in it, but he's not in a majority of the film. And he's in the parts of the film that it's not my favorite parts of the film, but it made my list, so you can't give me crap about it. So my number 10 is Saving Private Ryan.
It is a punt, but not as big as you would think.
Okay. All right. So at number 9, I don't think you've seen this one, but I'm going with The Adjustment Bureau.
I have not seen that one.
Okay, so this movie, it stars Matt Damon, and it also has Emily Blunt in it. It was actually probably Emily Blunt's first prominent film she was in. this film, the whole story of it is basically Matt Damon. He's a politician who loses an election. And he meets Emily Blunt, and there's these people, these angels that wear these fedora hats, and they're kind of like the TVA in Loki, where they have to make sure everyone follows their path they're on. Like Matt Damon and Emily Blunt, they're together. They don't do anything professionally. Like Matt Damon can become president, and Emily Blunt could become like one of the greatest ballet dancers. But they're like, no, they can't end up together because it's better for the world, and we have to follow this plan. It's got Anthony Mackie's in this film. It's got the guy that played Howard Stark, the older Howard Stark, and also he was also in Mad Men. This is a very enjoyable film, and I really like Adjustment Bureau. It's one I go back to every so often. It's not the greatest film ever, but it's a very enjoyable Matt Damon film. So yeah, I had to put that on my list.
Yeah, I'm gonna check this one out. Never heard of it.
Okay, at number 8, I'm going with one of his famous Ocean's movies. So I'm going with Ocean's 11.
That's my number 9.
Okay, so, let's talk about it. So, Ocean's 11. I mean, the movie's. The reason why it's probably a little lower on my list is just because it's not really Matt Damon's movie. It's more of George Clooney or Brad Pitt's film. But I think Matt Damon's very good in the film. I can't remember what his part of the heist job is. I've only seen the movie I think I've only seen Ocean's 11 once, but I really enjoyed him in the film. I mean, he's great. I love the whole film, though. I mean, for me, the movie's really carried by George Clooney and Brad Pitt. But I love a fun little heist film directed by Soderbergh, right? Steven Soderbergh.
Yep.
And so yeah, I enjoy Ocean's 11.
Yeah, I like these movies. What's crazy is when I was making these lists, and I saw all these Ocean's movies, because he did them. I went back and I can't find where I reviewed them, and I know in at least the last 5 years, I went and watched them all. I feel like I went and watched them all before Ocean's 8 came out.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't find my reviews for them anywhere, and then they all kind of bleed together because I watched them all back to back to back because I think I had only originally seen Ocean's 11, so that's why I picked Ocean's 11. Kind of the same as you. I don't really remember what his character is or what he does in the movie, but they're fun little heist movies. They're not really my favorite. That's why I don't know about you, but I only put this one in here. This Ocean's 11. That was it. That counts.
Yeah, that's it. Because that's the only one I've seen. Because I've heard Ocean's 12 was just they want to go to Hawaii for a vacation, and I did. And I heard Ocean's 13 was okay, but I just stuck with I think I watched Ocean's 11. I think last year sometime. I can't remember, but I really enjoyed it.
It makes me mad that I can't remember hardly anything about these movies.
Well, they're in Vegas. It was a poker game, if I remember right. It's a heist in a casino, if I remember right.
Yeah. Anyway,
but it makes the list, and it'll probably make the final list because it's so higher on both our lists. So yeah, that's my 10th or 8.
All right, my number 10. I went with The Departed.
Yeah, that's a punt.
Figured. Okay, my number 9 was Ocean's 11. My number 8 is Saving Private Ryan, which was a punt from earlier.
Okay.
Yeah. So Matt Damon plays Private Ryan, and so he's not in the movie a lot. I mean, he's in it towards the end. You get what's going on with him throughout the movie, but towards the end and stuff, and then they go and get him. We've talked about Saving Private Ryan a million times.
We have, especially lately. It feels like we talked about it a bunch of times the last since we've restarted the Easy K show.
This is a young Matt Damon in his prime, and I don't know. You could say he's in his prime right now.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
But that's Saving Private Ryan at 8.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I said, we talked about Saving Private Ryan many times, but we'll talk about it again real quick. My favorite parts of Saving Private Ryan is the parts that Matt Damon's not in the movie for, and I love the D-Day scene. I think it's some of the most incredible war scenes you'll ever see in a war film. I just don't love the journey. And then when Matt Damon's just like, I'm just ready to die here, and he loses that will to live. And Tom Hanks and everyone else, they're like, we all died for you. You need to make it count. And the ending of the movie is very emotional. It's like, did I live a good life? Tell me I'm a good man. It's a very powerful moment at the end of the film.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so that's your 10 through 8?
My 10 through 8, man.
Okay, my number 7 is a Clint Eastwood film, and that is Invictus.
I've never seen that.
Okay, so Invictus, you have Morgan Freeman, who plays this Nelson Mandela, who is the president of South Africa, who was a civil rights leader during I think it was like the 70s and 80s. Eventually became president, and so the whole premise of the story is Morgan Freeman's character Nelson Mandela is trying to bring unity between the whites and the blacks in South Africa. And nobody really likes rugby. They don't like the rugby team. Usually, all the blacks, they always root for whoever the rugby team is playing against. They root for the other team. And so Mandela gets with Matt Damon's character to try to get the country to root for this team and bring the country together. And it's kind of that thing where sports is kind of what brings people together, and as a rugby team goes for the World Cup, and it makes for a very good movie. I mean, it's based off a true story. It's not one of my favorite Eastwood films, but this was during the time where Eastwood was on in the 2000s, where he had hit after hit after hit. This was probably one of his last really good ones, but I really enjoyed Invictus. I thought Morgan Freeman really captured Nelson Mandela, and I really liked Matt Damon in the film. I can't remember who else was in this movie, but they were very good in this film together.
All right.
All right. At number 6, I went with a remake. It's a Western, and it is True Grit.
I have that at number 5.
All right. We'll punt that because you still have your 7 through 6 to talk about.
All right. My number 7 is Elysium. Which I figured Here's the deal with Elysium. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I have not watched it since it originally came out.
For good reason.
2013. Which I just watched the trailer for Neil Blomkamp's newest movie that's coming out, which looks creepy as all hell. I need to go back and revisit this one, but I remember it enough to where I was like, yeah, he's badass in this movie. He's trying to like, he's like, there's two classes, and the rich people all live on the up above them, and he's dying or something, if I remember correctly, and he's trying to get up there to not only save himself, but he kind of in the process is trying to like equalize everybody out.
Well, he's trying to save all the people that were living on Earth, because I think all the rich people, they live on the moon, if I remember right.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was a space station or the moon.
It could be the space station. It could be the moon. I can't remember. Jodie Foster was really bad in this film.
Yeah, she's the villain. She's like a person or something.
And then you have that one guy that's in all of his movies. The guy that played in the A-Team. And
it's sci-fi. 2013, I was a different movie reviewer. So I don't know.
I'm pretty sure we saw this movie together in Murray.
But I need to revisit it. I always give sci-fi a benefit of the doubt. This is coming off. This was what Blomkamp's second movie after
District 9.
District 9, which was amazing. So that's probably why I bet if I went back and watched it now, I probably wouldn't give it as high of a rating. But
probably not.
Maybe not, knowing me. I need to rewatch it. I own it on Blu-ray because I'm the collector in me. So I will have to go back and rewatch it. But I got it at number 7.
Okay.
My number 6, I have a Bourne movie. I went with the Bourne Supremacy on this one.
Okay.
My only Bourne movie. I like the Bourne movies a lot better than the Ocean's movies. This was what kind of solidified Matt Damon as an action star. Bourne Supremacy is badass because, unlike the first one, he gives them the option to just leave me alone and we can go our separate ways and it's going to be fine. And they couldn't do it, and he turns on them, and there's some really cool kick-ass scenes in that movie. Where he kind of turns the tables on them all. I like the Bourne movies. I never watched Jason Bourne though. Need to watch that one. I heard it was crap though, so that's probably why.
It was okay. It was better than Born Legacy.
See, I never watched that one either.
Yeah, that one's okay.
Where he's not even in it, right?
Well, that's Jeremy Renner, and the story takes place at the same time as Born Ultimatum. Like the movies are taking place at the exact same time.
And see, I don't like Ultimatum. That's the one.
So I like Ultimatum more than Supremacy, personally. So, but I really like Supremacy. I thought the action was cool. I like the scene at the airport when they realize who he is and he just kicks their butt. Yep. Carl Urban's in the movie for like 10 minutes.
He's like an assassin after him or something.
Yeah, he kills his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And he kind of lets him go. And also you have Brian Cox in it again, who Bourne basically doesn't kill, but he basically lets him die because he leases the gun and brings it to basically for him whenever he tries to kill the CIA agents that he kind of blows up or gets killed himself. So it makes for a very interesting film. And then, the whole reason is because they just think the information will leak through Damon's character. And I like how at the end of the film, he goes back to his first hit and he apologizes to the girl for what he did. So, and it leads us to, and like at the end of Bourne Supremacy, whenever he's talking to the CIA agent, which is a scene for Bourne Ultimatum, which is pretty cool looking back on that.
Yeah. It's a good movie. I like the Bourne movies. I need to watch those other two, I guess. Legacy and Jason Bourne. Which I guess Jason Bourne kind of killed the franchise, right? I don't think.
I don't know. We might see another one eventually, but it's a great trilogy. Maybe we'll get to revisit it one day on our rewatch series.
Yeah. The one thing about the Bourne movies is the shaky cam and the jump cuts. Like I hate that in other movies, but in these movies, it's done well enough.
It's done stylized. It's more stylized. Paul Greengrass, which directed this one, and then he also directed Jason Bourne and Bourne Ultimatum. So yeah, I mean they're fine.
All right. Well, that's my 7 through 6.
All right, my number 5 or my number. Do what?
Well, never mind. Go ahead.
That will be next after I talk about number 5, which it might be a punt or a small punt or anything. My number 5 is Ford v Ferrari.
Oh no, I don't know. I didn't even have that in my honorable mentions. Who was he again? Wasn't he the guy that
he's Max Shelby, the one who beat the race car?
And I should have put that on there.
What's wrong with you? That's such a damn good movie. I think it made your top 10 that year.
I don't know how I missed that, to be honest with you. I found a list on like Rotten Tomatoes. It was every Matt Damon movie Rotten Tomatoes scored, and so you would think that would have been on there.
Yeah.
I guess I skipped over it somehow.
I mean, that's crazy. That's a big movie for me, at least, because I loved Ford versus Ferrari. So, you got Matt Damon. He plays Mark Shelby, who is trying to build I think John Bernthald's character is the one that tries to get them to – they want to build a car that can compete against Ferrari at the race somewhere in Europe. And it's a cool little film. I mean, you have Christian Bale, who's the race car driver. And the movie's directed by the guy who directed the movie Behind You, and I can't remember what his name is.
Logan.
Yeah.
What's his name? Hold on. I'll get it.
So I really enjoy Ford versus Ferrari. The race car scenes are great. It's always great seeing Christian Bale go crazy, but I thought Matt Damon had a really great performance in this film. And I mean, do what?
James Mangold,
who's directed the next Indiana Jones film. I really like Ford versus Ferrari though. I thought it was a very fun movie, and I had to put my number 5 on my list.
I like it. I'm a little upset with myself as usual. I usually get some of these sometimes.
Shame.
Right. have a brain fart and just forget it. Yeah, I gave it a 4 out of 5 originally, and yeah, definitely should have had this on my list. That's my bad. I'll just include it as an honorable mention.
Okay. All right. That's my number 5. So your number 5 is
True Grit.
Yeah, True Grit.
I love the chemistry between him and Jeff Bridges in this movie. It's just so funny because I mean, I like his character in general. I like him and Jeff Bridges both. I love this movie. I've never seen the original True Grit, but
I haven't either. I want to, but
I just really like this movie. It's just a really great modern day Western and a remake, I guess. But and Haley Steinfeld is great in it. Just a good movie. Good
Western. Yeah, Haley Steinfeld's great, which was for her coming out party. I think she was nominated for an Oscar for this film. I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. Yeah, she's great in the film, and really started off her career really great with this, and then Edge of 17 and Bumblebee. I mean, she's had some really good movies, and I'm looking forward to Hawkeye later this year. Also, I mean, Matt Damon's great in the film. I mean, he has a very smaller role in this film, so that's probably why it's lower on my list. But his performance is really damn good in the film.
Yeah.
And Jeff Bridges is great as Copster Cogburn, which was made famous by John Wayne, who John Wayne won an Oscar for the film, which is one of his last few films he did. I think it came out in 1960 or 1970 or something. So it was one of Wayne's last few films. So, and the movie's directed by the Coen brothers, so it's another good Coen brother film. So yeah, I think it's a very good film and very deserving to be this high on both our lists.
I just remember some of the banter between the two of them. Something about his good eye or something. I need to rewatch this movie too. A lot of these movies you rewatch. I just remember them having good banter in the movie. Matt Damon and Jeff Bridges.
Okay. My number 4 is, according to the Golden Globes, the best comedy of that year, and that is The Martian.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's a punt, but
okay.
I forgot about that. It was the comedy. I forgot about that. Goodness, we should have nominated for Easy Gauge Comedy Award.
There's no way. That was one of my favorite movies the year it came out. But we'll talk about it. We okay. Was it your number 3 though?
My number 4 is a movie I know you haven't seen. I feel like I've talked about it before, but it's called Titan AE. It's a 20th Century Fox back in the old days, year 2000 animated movie. It's a mix of hand-drawn animation and CGI animation. It's a lot of CG though. I haven't seen it in a while, but I have a love for it as a child. This is probably like my Space Jam / Power Rangers. I don't know if I'd go and rewatch this and it may not hold up very well, but the basic premise is he's the main character. Matt Damon's the main character in this movie. You've got this kid. It takes place in like the year 3000 or something. Aliens come, blow up the planet. And the human race is like scattered across the space, and there's just very few humans left. We're like, we're an endangered species pretty much. And this kid, he's like the son of a famous scientist or something. Matt Damon plays him, and he has a map in his hand. And they're trying to follow the map. It's him and a crew. It's kind of like Firefly. It's him and this weird crew, and they're trying to go find this kind of planet terraformer thing that his dad built that they're going to throw down on the planet and create new Earth, basically. I think the ship is called Titan. I think that's where they get the Titan AE from. But I love this movie. It's one of my classic animated. It bombed at the box office, did horrible. It came around the same time as like Treasure Planet, and when Disney was bombing out like crazy too with their animated movies, and this was just a Fox version of animated bomb. But I really do enjoy it, and I like his character in the show. He's kind of a what's his name's character in Firefly?
Malcolm Reynolds.
Yeah, he's kind of like a Malcolm Reynolds, but a younger Malcolm Reynolds. It's a good movie one day. If you're feeling real bored and you want to watch a goofy sci-fi animated movie, I recommend it.
Never heard of it.
It's my number 4, Titan AE.
Never heard of it.
I feel like I talked about it before.
Maybe it's just one of those memories that I can't remember everything, really. So
this is one of the rare movies too that does not exist on Blu-ray. I have it on DVD. It doesn't exist.
I wonder what. That's not a good sign. Let's. I'm kind of curious now to see what the Rotten Tomato is for this film.
Well, that's a good question. Gosh, I hope it's not bad. It's probably bad. Titan AE. Yeah, Drew Barrymore. 50?
Yeah, 50%.
Oh, okay, well that's not bad.
That does not reach my scale to watch. So I'm glad this movie made it up higher than Ford versus Ferrari and some of his other films.
It deserves to be higher than everything probably besides Ford versus Ferrari, but it's okay.
Okay, so my number, that was your number 4, right?
Yep, that was my number 4.
My number 3 is The Bourne Identity.
That is my number 3 as well. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said Bourne Supremacy was your only Bourne movie.
No, that was the John. Oh, that was the Oceans movie. I did 2 Bourne movies. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I only did the one Bourne movie because I want to cover more of his filmography, and I would have probably chosen Bourne Ultimatum.
I like Bourne so much that
But I wanted to throw Saving Private Ryan. That way I wouldn't hear you crying about me not putting it on the list. So, but Bourne Identity for me it's the film that really, for me, transformed Matt Damon's career into the action star that we saw him in. I mean, because, we saw him in, Good Will Hunting, where he was more of this dramatic actor. And then you see in Bourne Identity, and he's this badass. I love that moment where it's him and the girl. They're at the cafe. He says, "I know the places to find a gun is under the cash register or in the semi that we just walked by. I know I can run this fast without losing my breath. Now, why would I know? Why would I know that?" So I love how he doesn't know who he is, but he finds out he's this hitman assassin thing. And the movie has a really great cast as well. I mean, it's got what's his face. What's the guy's name? The one of the hitmen who was in 12 not 12 Angry Men, Children of Men.
Clive Owen.
He's one of the hitmen. Very small role for him in. And the girl was great, and also I love this movie. I mean, it's one of the Bourne movies I go back to watch the most, and it was directed by Doug Liman, which was the only one directed by him. And he would do Edge of Tomorrow and Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So I really like Doug Liman, and I really like this one because it's more story driven. And I think when you get to Supremacy, it becomes more of an action franchise. But I feel like Bourne Identity, there's a lot more story, and the action is cool in this film. It's just not as cool as you would see in Bourne Supremacy or Ultimatum. But I really enjoyed this film.
I specifically remember, speaking of action, is the scene. It's like a pencil or a pen. He's just jabbing people in it.
Before John Wick.
Yeah.
That was in the second one, if I remember right.
Oh, I thought that was the first one.
It might have been the first one.
I'm pretty sure it's the first one. Anyway, this one, it's the one that started it all. And I always liked this movie, but I never had gone back and watched any of the other ones. But I had watched this one back when it first came out, and it's a fun time. And this whole, I can't remember anything, and you're kind of along for the ride with them, trying to figure out what the hell's going on. It's fun. It's good action, and it's the one that started him as a badass action person. That's the whole reason we got the Great Wall was because of this movie right here. So thank you, Bourne Identity.
Oh yeah. I mean, spoiler alert for whatever would. I mean, the Bourne. Yeah, and the Bourne I've always compared to James Bond. If James Bond was real. That's and I like how Bourne is set in it feels like in current day America, even though the movies aren't in America, except for the third one. Even though they are in America, but they're not. It's timey-wimey things. So I love the Bourne movies, so they're all fun. Even Bourne, the fourth one, which was it was okay, it had its moments, but it wasn't the greatest thing ever.
All
Okay,
right.
that was your number 3?
Yep.
Okay, so my number 2 is a punt from earlier, and you mother effer, and that is The Departed.
The Departed.
I love this movie. This is probably my favorite movie on this list. But the reason why it's number 2 is because he shares half the screen time with Leonardo DiCaprio. And I love the story of it, which, it's a remake of a Korean film, I think Eternal Affairs or something, where you have the story of it is Matt Damon is a undercover criminal in the cops, and you have Leonardo DiCaprio, who is a undercover cop in a criminal organization, which is, you have Jack Nicholson, who plays I think it's Costello, who is basically trying to be Whitey Bulger. And this movie's great. I mean, the scenes are great. I mean, are you a fucking cop? I'm not a fucking cop. And the accent, the Marty Scorsese directing of this film. This was my first Marty Scorsese film, I believe. I don't know. Actually, maybe it was Shutter Island was my first. I can't really remember. I'm gonna say this one is because this is actually a good movie. Shutter Island's like eh. But I thought the movie was great. I mean, Matt Damon is great in it. Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, Scorsese and DiCaprio relationship we saw throughout we've seen their career from Wolf of Wall Street, The Aviator, Gangs of New York, and The Departed. It's just great chemistry between the two. And I love how the movie ends, how everyone kind of dies. And I love this movie and I love it.
The reason I have this so low on my list, I've seen it the one time, and it was built up to, people were like, you gotta watch The Departed, and I remember watching it and thinking, this is a good movie, but not being like blown away by it. I do remember everybody dying at the end. It's one I need to go back and revisit because one, I don't have a review for it, so that means I watched it reviewing movies. It was a long ass time ago. So
I think it's a 2005, 2004. I can't remember what year it came out. Let's see. Maybe it's 2006. I can't even remember.
Which is right around when I started reviewing.
2006.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I need to rewatch it, but I wanted it on here because I do remember parts of it. I remember him being good in it. So, I just need to revisit it before I can, put it as high as you got it up there.
Okay, I can respect that.
All right. I didn't want to lie to our audience of 0. My number 2 is The Martian, a punt from earlier.
Okay, that was my number 4.
I love The Martian.
Oh yeah, it's great. I've watched it. I probably watched it about 5 or 6 times. And I enjoyed every time I like watching the movie. And I like the movie. And, it has those moments of being cast away in space. But what I also really enjoy about the movie, I love Matt Damon's comedy in the film, which Matt Damon is the funniest I've ever seen him in a movie. And I always forget how funny he is in the films. I mean, him and the Jimmy Kimmel sketches are always really funny. But I really like him, but I also really like the stuff going on Earth where they're trying to figure out how are we going to get this mission done, how are we going to get in there. Has such a great supporting cast from Chichio Ejiofor, Donald Glover, Sean Bean, I
know who you're trying to, the girl.
No,
or something.
I forgot not Kate Winslet. It's a girl from the Bridesmaids movies. It's the one you're thinking about. Kristen Wiig.
Oh yeah, Kristen Wiig. Yeah.
But I'm thinking of the guy who was Dumb and Dumber. He was in Newsroom. Jeff Daniels.
Yeah, Jeff Daniels. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good in the movie as well. So the whole movie has such a great cast. It also got Benedict Wong from he was in Doctor Strange. So the cast is incredible, and the movie's also another. It's his I guess it's our first Ridley Scott film because we talked about The Last Duel coming out, which will be another collaboration between the two. But I think this movie's great, and I love the mission. Also, forgot about Jessica Chastain, Michael Pena, Sebastian Stan, Kate Mara. I mean, what a great cast!
Yeah. Yeah, he's great, and I was going to say the exact same thing. This is like his Castaway, although better because Castaway I like, but this is a far superior movie to Castaway. But it's one of the things like I Am Legend, where you take your main actor, you seclude him. You know, that's sometimes you get the best acting when you do that. You know, he's on Mars, he's talking to himself a lot, but it's just really good stuff. He's funny.
I like the part at the end. I like how they make him look so damn skinny.
Yeah.
And then he said, like, technically Mars is, as soon as I leave this station, I'm a pirate. Mark Waltney, space pirate.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Good stuff. I love this movie.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, it's great, it's funny, and incredible. All right, so my number one is The Great Wall. I mean,
yes!
what more do you want? Matt Damon, ponytail, climbing the wall, Pedro Pascal fighting monsters. I mean, what more do you want?
It's funny that we're joking about this. I don't even remember this movie.
The only thing I really remember this movie was Jimmy Kimmel's joke at the Oscars that year, because I think he produced Manchester by the Sea. He said, "Good for you to be in a great to be with a ponytail and bomb at the box office." In all seriousness, though, my number one is Good Will Hunting.
Me too.
I was right. What? He's right. Let me hear it.
I watched this movie yesterday. I was immediately like sucked in and blown away by how good it was. So much so I called you and was like, "We gotta postpone our because this movie's so good and I want to finish it."
Yeah, I figured I was like, I can accept
that. Matt Damon's great in the movie. He is.
Oh my god, he's so good.
The thing that really Robin Williams is on a whole nother level. I mean, he is that's the best Robin Williams I've ever seen. And it was just fantastic. And I was like emotional for most of the movie. And it was
the moment in the movie when he says it's not your fault. He's like, "Yeah, I know," and then he just breaks down, he just hugs them, and it's not your fault. And then even like Ben Affleck's great in the film, because you know they wrote this movie together. Him and Affleck, they won Best Original Screenplay for this film, and like that moment in the movie when they're at my kids be growing up with yours, and Affleck said, "If you're still here in 20 years, I'm gonna kick your ass." And he said, "You could do so much better things than do. I don't have a choice." Then that's fine. That's the life I can live. But you can live a better life. And every day I go to your house and I see you're not. I see you here. I'm just hoping one day you just won't be there, which is the ending of the film. And I love how the movie ends. He says, "I had to see about a girl."
Yeah.
And then Robin Williams like, "Son of a bitch, stole my line."
Pretty much every scene with him and Robin Williams is just. I mean, it's just perfection. I gave this movie a 5 out of 5. I haven't posted my review yet, but I loved it. And yeah, it was the best Matt Damon, best Robin Williams. Ben Affleck was great. Little Casey Affleck was in there.
Casey Affleck is one of his brother. It's one of the friends, I believe.
Yeah.
I've seen this movie, I think, twice so far, and it made when I did my top 100 movies, it was pretty high on my top 100 movie list. And it's probably one of those movies that every time I watch it, I like it a little more. If I ever see it on Blu-ray, I'll probably buy it because I love the film. I mean, it's such a heartwarming film, and also it's got what's his face, Skarsgård, the dad Skarsgård, the professor.
I only remember him from the Avengers, or not the Avengers, the Thor movies.
Yeah, well, he was in the first Avengers.
Yeah. So. Yeah, he was good too. His banter his arguments and stuff with Robin Williams, good stuff.
Yeah, like great.
It's great though. But yeah, like it was bringing a tear to my eye a couple times. Like when Matt Damon would let Robin Williams have it, and I don't know. I really liked the movie. Yeah, so it skyrocketed all the way to the top. It's a good thing I watched it, right?
Right? I told you. I said you gotta watch. I told you when we made this list. I said you gotta watch Good Will Hunting, and I'm proud of you for actually committing to watching it.
Yeah, it was good. I literally started it like Wednesday night at like 9 o'clock at night. And I was like, well, I'll watch it. If I get like 20 minutes in, I don't like it, then I'll just be like, screw it. And then I started watching it, and I was like, oh, I got to message Big Easy, tell him to wait today.
All right, guys, that's our own separate list. So now we can combine this list and create the show between the two of us. So obviously, Good Will Hunting is number one.
Woo!
It's been a while since we've had a movie together at number one.
Yeah.
Okay, at number two, you had The Martian at 2. I had it at 4. That's enough to put it at number 2.
Okay. And then I guess we both had Born Identity at 3.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, I had Departed at 2. You had it at 10. I'm going to put that at 4.
Okay.
Let's see. You had Ford versus Ferrari, not Ford. You had the True Grit at 5. I had it at 6, so we'll just put that at 5.
Okay.
Okay, so we had Ocean's 8. I had it at 8. You had it at 9.
You mean Ocean's 11?
Do what?
You mean Ocean's 11? You said Ocean's 8.
My bad. Ocean's, because I had it at number 8.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So where did you have Saving Private Ryan at? Was it 8?
8. Yeah. I had
so
8.
I think at 8, 9 beats that.
Yeah.
I'll go Ocean's 11 at 8, and then Saving Private Ryan at 9.
Sounds good.
Okay, now we have 3 movies left. So the highest movie I have left, well, one of the highest movies I have left is I have Ford versus Ferrari at number 5. Do you have anything higher?
Yeah, I had Titan AE at 4.
Okay. But you would rather have...
I'll be honest with you. Yeah, we could go ahead and do Ford v Ferrari because had I remembered, had I seen it, it would have been on this list. I don't know where I would have fit it in. I probably would have put it above True Grit at least. So, yeah, okay. Go ahead. Let's do Ford v Ferrari.
All right. So I Titan AE at 7. All right. So the only movies I have left is I have Invictus at 7. What movie did you have anything higher than that?
I had Born Supremacy at 6.
But we've already have a Born
movie, so it's all right. Go ahead.
All right.
Go with your movie. Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Oh, I had True Grit 5, but we already did that, right?
Yeah, we put that at number 5. So okay. we had 6 honorable. We had 6 commonality, I believe.
Okay.
4, 5. Yeah. No, we had 7 commonality this time.
Dang.
So.
Dang.
Well, it's easier to do when you have an actor because you really just deball in just one guy's films together. Yeah. All right, so let's announce this list to the Easy Cage fans. The top 10 Matt Damon movies. Yeah. At number 10, Invictus. At number 9, Saving Private Ryan. At number 8, Ocean's 11. At number 7, Titan AE. At number 6, Ford v Ferrari. At number 5, True Grit. At number 4, The Departed. At number 3, The Born Identity. At number 2, The Martian. And the number 1 Matt Damon film is Good Will Hunting.
It's a good list.
Yeah, good list. I don't have any honorable mentions actually because
I do.
I think I wrote it down on one paper and then I threw that paper away, so I lost all my honorable mentions I had. But if I was going to have any honorable mentions, it'd be the other Bourne films, and that's basically it.
I have Promised Land, which I enjoyed, where he's kind of like I can't remember if he's I think he's a sales guy for like a gas company, and he's running around trying to get people to give up their land so that he could frack on it or something. I can't remember it very much, but I remember enjoying it. We Bought a Zoo is another movie that I watched once.
Never saw.
and I enjoyed. Like, it's a good family friendly movie about he's like in a broken family and they buy a zoo and he's trying to. I had the other Bourne movie or Bourne Ultimatum because I haven't seen the other two or the other one. I put Interstellar on here because I was like,
oh yeah, that was an honorable mention, but he's
think,
not in the movie enough for me to even make the list.
Yeah,
like the movie's like 2.5 hours long, and well, I guess really, if I think about it, he's in it probably as long as he is in Saving Private Ryan.
Another one that I couldn't put on the list. I had it rated pretty high, but I haven't seen it in so long, and I don't remember if it's good. Is The Brothers Grimm? It's him and the late great Heath Ledger. And it's the Brothers Grimm. They're like monster hunters, and they go travel from town to town and kill monsters for people. I just couldn't remember anything about it, and so that's why I didn't put it on my list.
See, I was going to watch Dogma.
Yeah.
And because it's Kevin Smith, Ben Affleck, and Matt Damon together, I was going to watch it, but never got around to it. So that was one movie I was going to watch, but just didn't have time to watch it. I don't think it probably wouldn't. It might kick Saving Private Ryan off the list, but oh well.
Matt Damon had a lot of movies. I remember when I went to that Rotten Tomato list, it was like,
yeah, he's had a lot of movies.
Some movies, but and really, when you look at him, he doesn't have. I mean, he's got a few stinkers in there.
Yeah, I mean, like the ones I remember that I didn't go see in theater. Like Great Wall was awful. I didn't go see that Downsizing. Was it Downsizing?
Yeah, Downsizing sucked.
The one with was it Suburbicon? So all the George Clooney movies aren't good. That he directs them in. Monument Men, another George Clooney movie.
That one's got a real low Rotten Tomato score.
So those films, but he always. I didn't see that one movie he was in, the one where he has the mustache. Was it The Informant? I've heard that's really good. I think it's a Spike Lee.
You were going to watch Contagion. I've never seen that one either. Everybody was telling me I needed to watch that.
Yeah, I was going to watch it, but I never got around to it. I just said, screw it.
Yeah, good list.
All right, guys, that ends this episode of the Easy Cage Show. Next week, me and Easy Cage, we are finishing the Die Hard trilogy up with Die Hard with a Vengeance. I actually already watched the movie. I watched it last night, and I'll have a review out before the movie, before our collaboration spoiler talk of the film. But I'm looking forward to actually talking a little Die Hard with a Vengeance with old Rainy Cage over here. So that'll be coming out next week on the Easy Cage Show. So make sure you stay tuned to that next Thursday. Guys, make sure you follow Rainy Cage at his Letterboxd. You can read all of his things. He just finished up the Fear Street movie reviews and should have a Good Will Hunt review coming out very soon. You can check out my main Darfeezy YouTube channel. I posted a bunch of reviews. I have a little review of Loki. I did a review of Black Widow and the Fear Street movies. So check that out now, and also check out the Darfeezy Show, where you can check out all the Easy Cage stuff and my Star Wars podcast whenever you want. So guys, until next week, all too easy.
Peace out.